great leaders often have that special something that sets them apart from the rest. In your opinion, what's the distinguishing factor between a good leader and a truly great one?
I think there's a lot of defining characteristics. So by the time this episode airs, there's going to be my conversation with Alex Hormozi, and I asked him kind of a similar question, and he said the big difference is humility, which I agree with. I think great leaders are humble, are open to learning, are open to new perspectives. 100% I agree with that. The other thing that comes to mind that I would say is really just with two things. One is their perspective around growth and success. So meaning that I think a mediocre leader cares about themselves winning. I think a great leader cares about succeeding by helping others succeed. So meaning that if they can help their clients be successful, their team members be successful, their success comes as a byproduct of everybody else's success. I think those are like the best leaders. And the other one is time horizon, in that there's going to be leaders that are focused solely on today, and as a result, they make short-term decisions. And as a result of those short-term decisions, they're not really thinking about second-order, third-order consequences. They're not thinking long-term. They're not making long-term investments in the future. Honestly, it's very selfish because they're focusing on how do I win today versus how do I win overall and win tomorrow. Instead, I think great leaders have longer time horizons where, let's say, long-term patience, in that they can think years down the line. They can put pieces in place today. They can make certain chess moves today. They can establish certain infrastructure foundation so that they're building up for the eventual success that they're going to have years down the line, which sometimes in the short term involves trade-offs and sacrifices and those types of things. But as a result, those are the ones that really build just incredible things. Massive organizations achieve massive success. But if you have the other types that are, well, they're just trying to win the week, those are the ones that are going to make short-term decisions, and they wonder, why am I not thinking long-term? Like, you see this is, it's interesting when you look at the practice of law. You can see two types of law firms that will do both variations of this, especially when it comes to their marketing. If you're a short-term thinker, you're relying on short-term drivers, so things like bring you immediate leads, pay-per-click, lead services, those types of things. And then the challenge with that is that, yes, you can pay for a click or a lead. And I'm not saying these are bad things. I'm just giving you an example of like a short-term driver. But the challenge is that because this works on a bidding system, and every law firm in America can do this, especially large law firms, that there's going to be some people that are willing to spend more money per click than others, which is going to drive up the cost per click on an individual keyword, which will drive up the cost per lead, which will drive up the cost per case. And many times, for those that have experienced buying leads or even any of these lead services or pay-per-click, these tend to result in low-value cases. Low-value cases come with low profit margins. And as a result of gaining low profit margins, it leaves little money to reinvest back into the business and back into the marketing. And you see this self-fulfilling prophecy in this cycle of eventually costs continue to go up and up and up for pay-per-click keywords and terms. The profit margins continue to go down, or less money to reinvest back into the business in the long term, and then you're stuck. You never get to where you're going. Conversely, if you take the opposite approach and say, hey, we're going to invest in long-term brand drivers, and these can be anything. I mean, it could be things like writing a book, hosting a podcast, community efforts, just really just thinking about long-term about how do we build trust and confidence in our brand, supporting our clients, building raving advocates, all those things, dialing in things internally, providing great customer service, great client experience. So it's like you're not going to necessarily just win today, but you're thinking about the long-term, and that what that typically results in is ultimately a lower cost of acquisition because now you've built a stronger brand. So instead of just having to market as an unknown, now people know you and they come to you through a referral network or just through brand affinity even within your community. And those tend to be the best cases, right? The best cases come by way of referral and word of mouth. And this is everyone's experience. Those are the highest average case value. They also have the highest profit margin. With the highest profit margin, you can reinvest that back into the business, and you're able to now reinvest it back into your marketing and to grow and scale exponentially. So it's like, if you had to choose between the two, I think for most firms, it's probably good to take a hybrid approach because you're going to need something today, and then something tomorrow, especially if you have nothing today. But the most successful firms are much more focused on the long term than they are on the short term. And I've seen this evolution with Crisp. I mean, I'd say 90% of our investment is everything into the future. Everything is about tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. It's like, I don't have to win today. And even in the early years of Crisp, I didn't take a salary for the first several years. And even when I did, I was paying myself, $25,000 and $35,000. It was like nothing. And it was because I wanted to take as much money as we could and reinvest it back into the team, back into the infrastructure, back into our marketing to be able to scale it. And I think that made the journey much quicker. As a result, we were able to make a lot of great leaps because of that.